So wait on any questions, if you could take a moment to comment on your squad as you travel to Georgia.
Yes. We played a very hard-fought game last week in South Carolina, a very physical football game. Our kids played well. We got better, overcame some things, persevered, and it was a very physical game in the trenches. Thought we played better, and we're getting better in those areas, and our young players keep developing. So, hopefully it's enough to go on right here as we have an outstanding opportunity, but a very stiff challenge going into Athens to play a very, very good Georgia football team who's good in all phases. And you look on the film, there's no weaknesses in them. Offense, defense, special teams have great players across the board, and they've had a lot of success here recently. So it's going to be a huge challenge on the road. Looking forward to our team's development in those opportunities and see how we withstand that. And hopefully we can go play a great game on the road right here against a very good football team. Questions?
For questions, press star 1, and we'll begin with Josh Kendall of The Athletic.
Hey, Jimbo, I wanted to ask you a little off topic about the coach's call-in show. How do you feel about those? Do you enjoy those, or is that a part of your week you just as soon skip?
No, actually, I do enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with the fans, and we have a great turnout, and interacting with them and talking with them, and getting face-to-face contact with them in a very relaxed setting to where they can see us as and what we are, and I get to see them and experience that. I actually enjoy that a lot.
If you're coming off of a rough game or it's a rough part in the season, do you just kind of have to put on your armor and know it might get a little rough?
Yeah, it's part of it, but at times, people are great. People are usually very, people have their own comments on what they do, but there's usually nothing abrasive or anything crazy about that, and it can be. I know I've had that happen in different situations in the past, but hey, that's what people do, and that's part of this business. But I think the interaction with coaches and fans, because we don't have that as much, and it's in a very controlled environment, I think is very good.
Thank you, Jimbo.
Thank you.
Next is Nick Seuss of the Jackson Clarion Ledger.
Hey, Jimbo. You guys played both Ole Miss and Mississippi State earlier in the season. With those two teams kind of getting ready for each other in the Egg Bowl a week from tomorrow, I was wondering if you can just kind of compare what you remember of scouting those teams and how you think they might match up with one another.
I think it'd be a great football game. I think they're very similar. They both give us tons of problems. Ole Miss game's a little lower scoring game for us on the road over there. They had opportunities, we had opportunities, and it was a little lower scoring game, but they're very dynamic. The young quarterback can really run. The young backs are athletic. Receiver 8 does a good job. Defensively they're very physical up front. Benito is a very physical, really good football player. They're coached very well in those aspects. Look, Mike's done a great job. Mississippi State, we played better offensively that day. But at the same time, they really played well offensively and scored points and moved the football, and they're physical. But they're physical on defense and do that. So I think it ought to be a great game. Both teams played us very well, and we had to play very well to be successful.
Thank you, Jimbo.
Thank you.
Next is Steve Motha of WZZN.
Hey, Coach, how are you today?
All right, how are you?
Doing well. With this being the first trip for Texas A&M to Athens since A&M has joined the conference, what do you think about the potential of expanding to a 9-game conference schedule so more of these types of games can happen in the future?
Well, you can do that possibly, or you can keep on more of a rotational basis throughout your schedule also. So I think both of those things. I think the league will look and expand into whatever is the best decision for our league and what's best for us.
And if you could, give me an evaluation on what you've seen out of Jake Fromm and what he brings to the table there for the Georgia offense, Coach.
First of all, he's a very good football player. He's very smart. He's a winner. He understands. He's sneaky athletic. He can run with his legs. You don't think of him as everybody thinks of him as a pocket guy, but he makes plays with his legs, keeps plays alive, makes great decisions, accurate with the football, and understands all situations and does a great job of getting them in and out of the right things, and is a very, very good quarterback.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next is Travis Brown of the Eagle.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing, Travis?
Doing good. Hey, real quick, when something happens on a national level with an injury like what happened with Tua, and kind of with how gruesome it was, do you ever sit down and talk with your quarterbacks to kind of pick their brain about, being comfortable in what they're doing?
No, as far as, injuries are part of this game, unfortunately. They're part of life and everything you do. And everybody knows that situation. I mean, you can't. There's no way to ever prevent an injury. There's no way to ever, as far as things happen when you get hit, circumstances, things happen, but also they don't happen. I mean, as much as we dwell on the injuries that happen, there's many more that don't happen. I mean, it's about 100 or 1,000 to 1, it seems like, because think of all the contact and everything that goes on in football. I mean, you get bumps and bruises, but injuries of that nature. So, listen, we understand that when we play the game, when we coach it, and it's a very, very unfortunate part of this game, but it's one of the, the physicality of this game is one of the things that makes this game so attractive to people, in my opinion, that why we love football, and one of the things that draws you to it. And you hate to see that, but if you start playing not to get hurt or not to get injured, that's when those things occur. You got to play and be smart and just play the game.
Mm-hmm. And on Monday, I know you mentioned in the middle of a question that you were so proud of what Kellen has done lately, and you said you'd elaborate later. I wasn't sure if you were able to get around to it or just kind of what was
just the effect he has on his team by his mental preparation, his psychological disposition, his competitive nature, and his ability that it's a guy you want to play with and follow. I mean, you see a guy that that will sacrifice whatever he has to do to be successful. He works hard. He's a relentless worker. He has a great personality. Kids love him. But you see a very tough, competitive guy on the field. If he has to stand in the pocket and get hit to make a throw for us to be successful, he does that. And I mean, when you do that, and it's a signature of your team. I think when your quarterback's a very tough, competitive football player, your team takes that nature. And you see it in pro ball and all the great quarterbacks. I mean, their ability to stand in there, the old Brett Favres of the world, the Bradys of the world, those guys that played for Peyton Manning, all those guys were not. We reveled at their great accomplishments as players, but when you really study their competitive natures, why they were great players, and their toughness and their things. And he's learning there's a lot more to quarterbacking than a completion percentage and a yards per catch and a touchdown to interception ratio and things of that nature. And I think if he continues to grow and then has that effect on his teammates, man, that's when you really become the quarterback of the football. It's not that he wasn't, but those are things that take time to prove over, and the great ones all have those intangibles, and he's really developing those, in my opinion.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Next is Mark Weiser, the Athens Banner-Herald.
Jimbo, when you watch film of DeAndre Swift, what kind of jumps out at with what he does well?
It'd be either list what he doesn't do well. Best thing he does is stand on the sideline. I mean, you see a guy who's extremely, for a guy who's had all the athletic ability, runs with great patience, great vision, great eyes, tempos his runs. He accelerates and slows down, speeds up when he has to, accelerates through holes, plays with great pad level, can play physical, runs between the tackles, catches the ball very well, and then second level has the ability to make you miss, and then when he gets in green grass, hit home runs. I mean, and he pass blocks well. I mean, we recruited a guy when I was at Florida State. I remember watching him out of high school, and he hadn't disappointed as he keeps developing. I mean, and I'm not saying it because we're playing him. I think he's one of the best backs, if not one of the top backs in all of America.
And where are you guys now in terms of your pass protection?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting better and better, and guys are running routes, and that's as pass protection goes, and some of it's also routes and combinations and quarterback's knowledge, and getting better and better, doing a really good job.
Okay, thank you.
But we got to improve on it. You're always improving on that, protecting your quarterback.
I think that's going to wrap you up, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.